Daf Yomi, Tractate Makos, page 6b. The time is 1:48 Israel Standard Time, 1:48 in the afternoon, 1:48 p.m., 13:48. 6b on the top of the page with the words. It's a new Mishnah. Hayu shnaim ro'in oto מחלון זה, ושניים רואים אותו מחלון זה, ואחד מתרה בו באמצע בזמן שמקצתן רואים אלו את אלו, הרי אלו עדות אחת, ואם לאו, הרי אלו שתי עדויות. לפיכך, אם נמצאת אחת מהן זוממס, הוא והן נהרוגים. The Mishnah says in a case where there were two witnesses observing an individual violating a capital transgression from this window in a house, and two observing him from that window in a house, and one person was forewarning the transgressor in the middle between the two sets of witnesses. The halacha depends on the circumstances. In a situation where some of the witnesses observing from two windows see each other, the testimony of all these witnesses constitutes one testimony. But if they do not see each other, the testimony of these witnesses constitutes two independent testimonies. Therefore, as two independent sets of witnesses, if one of the sets was found to be a set of conspiring witnesses, while the testimony of the other set remained valid, both he, the one accused of violating the capital transgression, and they, the conspiring witnesses, are executed, and the second set, whose testimony remained valid, is exempt. Rabbi Yossi says, לעולם אין הרוגין עד שיהיו שני עדיו מסרים בוי, שנאמר על פי שניים עדים. דובר אחר על פי שניים עדים, שלא תהא סנהדרין שומעת מפי התורגמן. Rabbi Yossi says transgressors are never executed unless his two witnesses are the ones forewarning him. As it is stated, at the mouth of two witnesses, he who is to be put to death shall die. Deuteronomy 17:6, from which it is derived that it is from the mouths of the two witnesses that caused the accused that know that the accused must be forewarned, and forewarning issued by someone else is insufficient. Alternatively, from the phrase at the mouth of two witnesses, one derives that the judges must hear the testimony directly from the witnesses, and the Sanhedrin will not hear testimony from the mouth of an interpreter. Gemara. That's the mission. Now we're studying Gemara. Amar Rav Zut Rav Tovia Amar Rav Mina Leilas Mirash Yevzula Shneim Layim Osaviyed Echad My Echad Ile Ben Ein Echad Mamish Mirash Shemir Le'api Shnayim Eidim La My Echad Echad Rav Zutra Bar Tuvia says, and that Rav says, from where is it derived with regard to disjointed testimony in which each of the witnesses saw the incident independent of the other? That is not valid. It is derived from a verse, as it is stated, he shall not die at the mouth of one witness. The exposition is as follows. In Deuteronomy 7:10-6, the exposition is as follows. What is the meaning of one witness? If we say that it means literally one witness, we learn it from the first portion of the verse, at the mouth of two witnesses, indicating that the testimony of fewer than two witnesses is not valid. Rather, what does it mean one witness? It means that the accused is not executed based on testimony of people who witnessed an incident with one witness here and one witness elsewhere. So that means that echad actually does mean a compound unity in the case where you said it was only one witness. And no one argues with him, Rav says. Tanya nami achi lo yumas abin echad lehavi shnayim shroim oso echad mechalon ze echad mechalon ze ve'en ro'in ze ze. Tanya nami hachi lo yumas api eid echad lavi shnayim shroim oso echad. Oh yeah, we said this already. Echad mechalon ze ve'echad mechalon ze ve'en ro'in ze ze she'en mitzarfin ve'lo od אלא אפילו זה אחר בחלון אחד הם מצרפים. The Gemara notes this is also Tana Braita is written, "He shall not die at the mouth of one witness," from which it is derived to include the halacha that in the case of two witnesses who observe an individual violating a capital transgression, one from this window and one from that window, and they do not see each other, that they do not join to constitute a set of witnesses. Moreover, even if they witness the same transgression from the same perspective, watching the incident not at the same time, but one after the other in one window, they do not join to constitute a set of witnesses. Amar le'el papa le'abayi hashtar ma'echad mechalon zeh ve'echad mechalon zeh dehaika chazeh kuli ma'aseh ve'haika chazeh kuli ma'aseh amad lo mitztarfi b'zeh chazeh dehaika zeh palga dima'aseh ve'haika zeh palga dima'aseh mibai amar le lo nitzrecha ela leboel et ha'erva. Rav Papa said to Abaye, why is it necessary to mention both cases? Now, if in the case where one witness views the incident from his window and one witness views the incident from that window, where this witness sees the entire incident and that witness sees the entire incident, you say that they do not join to testify together as two witnesses. If they see the incident one after the other, where this witness sees half the incident and that witness sees half the incident, is necessary to say that the witnesses, is it necessary to say that the witnesses do not join together? Abaye said to him, it is necessary to state this halacha only with regard to a case where they witnessed one who engages in intercourse with a forbidden relative, which is a continuing act, and each of the witnesses saw sufficient behavior to render the transgressor liable. The Tana of the Braita teaches that even in that case, they do not join to constitute a set of witnesses. Amar Rava says, Ima yoynes amatre, או המטרה רויסון מסתרפין. אמרו מטרה שאמרו אפילו בביאסמו אפילו מפי השד. Okay, let's hear this one. Apropos witnesses joining to constitute a set of witnesses, Rava says even if the witness in either window is unable to see the witness in the other window, if the witness in each window sees the one who is forewarning the accused, or if the one who is forewarning the accused could see the two disjointed witnesses, they join to constitute a set of witnesses. Rava says the one forewarning the accused of whom the sages spoke need not be a third witness. But even if the victim forewarns the murderer from his own mouth, and even if the forewarning emerged from the mouth of a demon, I don't know why he brings that in, meaning the source of the forewarning is unknown. Oh, they try to say it's unknown. The forewarning is legitimate. So why didn't you just say that? Anyway, Rav Nachman. Amar Rav Nachman. Das mir jetzt geschrieben mit dem Amnes dixi. Lo yumas al pi edechon. Bedin efashazu de ein keshera, aber bedin Amnes keshera. Rav Nachman says disjointed testimony of two witnesses, each of whom observed an incident independent of the other, is valid in cases of monetary law. As it is written, he shall not die in the mouth of one witness, Deuteronomy 17:6. This indicates that it is only with regard to cases of capital law that disjointed testimony is not valid. With regard to cases of monetary law, the testimony is valid. Maskif Rav Zutra Ela Beatu Nefashos Tatzir Alma Tanan Hu Behin Nerogin Kashio. Rav Zutra objects to this. But if that is so, and disjointed testimony is effective in certain cases, in cases of capital law, disjointed testimony should spare the accused from execution, since one must exploit every avenue possible to prevent executions in a case where some of the disjointed witnesses were rendered conspiring witnesses. The entire testimony should be voided on their account. Why then did we learn in the Mishnah that if one set witnessed the capital transgression from one window and one set from the other window, and one set was found to be a set of conspiring witnesses, he, the accused, and they, the conspiring witnesses, are executed? Gemara comments, indeed, that is difficult according to Rav Nachman. Rav Yossi Omer lei Rav Papa lebaya umis lei Rav Yossi haispara v'yatzanan Rav Yossi Omer asoni neherag v'pnei shehu kemuad u'mutre. The Mishnah teaches that Rav Yossi says perpetrators are never executed unless his two witnesses are the ones forewarning him. Rav Papa said to Abaya, and is Rav Yossi of the opinion that this line of reasoning is correct, and forewarning by the witnesses is indispensable? But didn't we learn in the Mishnah 9b, Rabbi Yossi says an enemy who commits murder cannot claim that he killed the victim unwittingly. Rather, he is executed even if there was no forewarning, due to the fact that his halakhic status is like that of one who is cautioned and forewarned. Apparently, Rabbi Yossi does not always require that there be forewarning. Omar le hahu Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda hi Tanya Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda Omer chaver ein tzarech hasra fi shelo nitna hasra ela lehavchin ben shoy lemezid. Abaye said to him, that statement in the Mishnah that we cited is attributed to Rabbi Yossi. That is attributed to Rabbi Yossi is actually of the opinion of Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda, as it is taught in the Bride. Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda says a chaver, meaning a well-experienced Torah scholar, basically. A chaver does not require forewarning, as forewarning was instituted only to distinguish between one who commits a transgression unwittingly and one who does so intentionally. That's how Chacham always knows what's right and wrong. Chaver, who is a Torah scholar, does not require forewarning to distinguish between them. And Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta, whose opinion is cited in the Mishnah here, is of the opinion that forewarning is necessary prerequisite to executing someone who is to be judged liable, and that forewarning must be issued by the witnesses. Davar acher b'shnei meidim shelo teisan el shumas b'yan dorma. Anu lo'ozeh da'azo lekame derove. Oike Rava Torgman Benaim, Vehechi Avil Hachi, Yatznan, Shilo Tehesan Hedrin Shumas Torgman, Rava Mida Haviyada, Ma Dahavu Amri, Ahadore Hu La Haviyada. The Mishnah teaches alternatively from the phrase in the verse at the mouth of two witnesses, one derives that the Sanhedrin will not hear testimony from the mouth of an interpreter. The Gemara relates, there were certain people who spoke a foreign language who came before Rava for judgment. Rava installed an interpreter between them and heard the testimony to an interpreter. The Gemara asks, and how did he do so? But didn't we learn in the Mishnah that the Sanhedrin will not hear testimony from the mouth of an interpreter? The Gemara answers, Rava knew what they were saying as he understood their language, but he did not know how to respond to them in their language. He posed questions through the interpreter, but understood the answers on his own, as required by the Mishnah.